What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. We have a super cool video for you today. I'm going to show you the best way to reverse source, right? Keep in mind a couple different things. Reverse sourcing is all about qualifying quickly, right? It's going through Amazon information and disqualifying based on the things that you are looking for in a particular product, whether it be sales rank, buy box, consistency, stability, price point, all those sorts of things you can qualify really, really quickly when you are reverse sourcing. On the other hand, right, when you're manual sourcing, it's harder to make those qualifying decisions in an efficient manner, right? Because if I'm on Nike.com, I don't have sales rank in front of me. I don't have buy box. I don't have competition. I can't see the keeper charts. I can't see a lot of this stuff. And so every time I'm on a Nike.com listing, I always have to make that connection back to an Amazon listing. However, if I start based on the Amazon listings, well, I can make a lot of those decisions. I can eliminate the fluff, and now I just have to map it back to an online arbitrage site, right? So reverse sourcing is going to be an efficient way to source for a lot of newer sellers because it's just a volume game, right? It's sifting through hundreds and hundreds of different products to find the winner, and then once you find that winner, like we talk about a lot on this channel, you can look in the adjacencies, the competitive sellers, deeper into the brand, the variations. You can look and find profit a lot of times in those adjacencies way quicker than you can just sifting through random products, right? So today I'm going to show you the best way to reverse source. And so we're going to be here in Kiba. I'm going to at the top click on top sellers list, and this is going to give you a whole lot of information, most of which you don't necessarily need, right? This is going to be, the top 1,000 sellers across all different categories, brands, realms of Amazon, right? But these 1,000 we're not necessarily interested in, right? We want to refine this list just a bit to get a list of sellers that we're interested in selling the same sorts of products with, right? So for example, say we wanted to sell Nike, right? Say we wanted to sell Nike products. If I expand this first, and let's do something that's not going to take off forever to load, right, to 10,000 rows. Again, this is the default view is the top 10,000 sellers across all different categories and brands. But notice, anytime we're working with Amazon data, it's likely the case that we can filter on it and we can manipulate it and use it to our advantage. And that's exactly what we're about to do, right? We see category and brand, and these are two columns we can filter on, right? So for example, maybe I want to source Nike listings, right? This is going to give us the top, what is this, 11 sellers out of the top 10,000 that sell Nike as their primary brand, which is super powerful, right? Because if you take a look at some of these sellers, right, this seller has almost 700 listings, 5,000, 1,500, 2,500. In this page alone, there's tens of thousands of different Nike listings that, again, we can quickly disqualify to find some of the ones that we're interested in. Again, not keeping in mind price point, we gotta obviously map it back to a particular site, but this is the beginning of it, right? And so we can see some data on the seller, right? Obviously, we have their seller ID if we want to save it. We can see the country that they're selling in, but also we can see the volume of Nike in their catalog. So I see that this first seller has 700 listings, 44% of that is Nike. So about 320, 330 Nike listings just in this first seller alone, which is powerful, right? Because reverse sourcing is all about looking through products that we're interested in. And so if I start to look through this particular storefront, now ideally, right, we take this seller ID, plug it into SellerAmp, and SellerAmp just gives us a more efficient way to disqualify products because it shows us the keeper chart. It shows us all the sorts of information that we're interested in. And so what I would do, right, is I would open up their store, Superstore team. I'd click on any of their listings. And I would just open up their store through SellerAmp's lens. Again, it's just easier to digest, consume the information in this manner, and you'll see pretty quickly why, right? So I can obviously again click on Nike, easy filter, but I have all these keeper graphs at my disposal within a second's notice, right? So I can start to say, oh, this product has gone down $20, $30 in the past couple weeks. Probably not something I'm interested in. This one's is relatively stable, but I could also make way more deductions from that. I can see that the market's at about 120. right? That's where they're priced at. And I can see essentially what I would need to be buying for all in 5, 6 seconds. And so I can quickly Google and say, is it possible to be able to buy this particular product? So I had to get that out of the way. This particular product at about $75, right? So I'm looking for this Nike shoe, and I can start to sift through the internet, and I don't necessarily see it, right? So we're going to skip that. That one's decreasing. These shorts, $38. Buy boxes, same about $38. I need to be buying it for about 17. I can make all these decisions pretty quickly. I know my market's probably around 31, but I also know if I have any coupons, I can account for that as well. And so Nike, for example, maybe I have a 15% off coupon that I could use, right? So 31 turns into like 26, 25, 27 in that realm. And so I can really start making these decisions pretty quickly. And so once I really get good at this, well, I'm really going through this information in seconds, right? I'm consuming all this information in seconds. And this one seller alone has, like, whatever we said, 200, 300 some odd products just in Nike. And so from an efficiency perspective, it's not going to get much better than this. This shoe, for example, about 110, 100, 120 maybe ceiling max, right? They're priced right around there as well. I need to be buying it for 68. I pull it up, make sure I'm looking at the same shoe. I can see that they're on Nike for 95. Maybe on 20% off. This is kids, right? So 95. I know the sorts of coupon codes and how much I can manipulate this particular price point, so I can either disqualify or qualify quickly, right? So maybe, for example, this product, the max cost, the about cost is 95, 96, or maybe it's 100, right? I can see pretty clearly that I'm close to the price or not, right? And this is something that you guys should really get familiar with in terms of working with a particular site, is how much you can manipulate a price or not, right? How much variability that buy cost is, whether it be a $5% off discounted gift card, whether it be a 10% off code that you have 15% off, 20%, whatever, or a particular sale at a particular time, right? I know based on the particular sites the sort of malleability that buy cost will have. And so that also assists in my efficiency in looking through these sorts of products. I know anything on Nike.com, I could probably get 10 to 15% off. So that 95 turns into 86, 87 pretty quickly. Again, not necessarily close enough to make it interesting based on my perspective buy cost, but the more information, the better. In this format, just really sifting through all this information pretty quickly allows us to consume the information for one and make educated decisions on it. This, for example, right? I see these shoes. They're priced about 200, right? Obviously, we probably missed the sales, the seasonality of this particular item, but I would assume they're still selling in the off season, right? Still 138K ranked. That means they're probably selling a couple times a month, 10, 15, maybe 50 times a month. My buy cost looks like it's also probably around maybe 100, maybe 140, right? Obviously, I'd want to dig into the particular buy cost, but I see my prospective cost is about 120. So this automatically is something that I want to open up and actually dig deeper into, right? Understand what this product is actually looking like when it comes to me, right? So I could see pretty clearly that this product was selling really quickly. But even now, even if we take the decreased volume, the decreased sales rank, I see a sale there. Someone went out of stock. I see things happening, prices going up and down. They're still selling quite a bit, right? So if we're going to be pricing this guy anywhere between 200 and 190 in that range, right? We can look at the offers. Lowest FBA offer is 189, right? So we're going to come in somewhere between that 190 and 200 range. Again, we can see we'd want to be buying it for about 120, similar to what Seller Amp showed us. For shoes, for cleats, maybe we inch down to like 112-ish just to buy some extra wiggle room for returns and stuff. So our buy cost is looking like around 112, right? So I can click in here and see where I'm looking for the white studs, I think. White studs, yeah. So I go to Champs. Again, knowing Champs, how Champs works helps a bunch, right? So they're 140. I can probably find some sort of coupon code or discount code, right? So assuming we can get at least 10% off, the 11's in stock, 140 turns into 126, I believe. And so what does 126 do for us? Probably not close enough to make it work, Only, I mean, $26 profit off a sale, 15% margin is a little low for a shoe. But maybe this is something you want to, so that was a 13. I was looking at an 11. Do they have the 13? So the 13 is also in stock, right? The cool thing is though, once I have a hit, once I have something that's interesting, well, now I can dig a little deeper, right? This one's close, depending on how low I can get the price. If I can get it down to like 115, 120, well, now it's game on, right? 20% margin, list to FBM, probably sell within a couple days. So that's the 13. But also, right, knowing how variations work, there's probably a couple other variations that work just as well. And so I know my target sale price is at least 190. And so what I can do is filter on that price, right? I'm going to be looking for any variations over 190. So it looks like we got two, the white ones, the white size 12. Looks like these guys as well, 240. So maybe, I don't know where the blue ones went. Maybe I do have to do 189. Oh, but these didn't have a buy box, I don't think. I think that's probably why they're not showing up. But I see two other perspective colors and sizes that are even more interesting, right? 242, 229. I can see from the keeper chart that they're selling quite a bit, right? Because of just how much the buy box is going in and out, up and down. And so I can go back to my site and look for those, right? So this white and gray one, which is that one right there. They don't really have any sizes left, right? So I can click into the white and black. They don't have the white and black. But that's how the variations work, right? I'm going to kind of work back and forth, see where the variations meet my criteria, see where they don't. And I can use, again, even these filters to my advantage as well to speed up that process of disqualification. And so all I'm doing is just kind of sifting through, and we've only been through one store. We already have a couple interesting products, one profitable product to begin with, right? There's here 11 sellers more, but if I expand the search to the 50,000, the 100,000, right? We'll see how quickly this loads up. I'm not sure it will in a, all right, so I did pretty quickly, right? And if I filter back on my Nike, now I have 100 sellers, right? Which is even more products to deal with. And now these are tens and tens and tens of Nike products that I can look through, all from qualified sources that are pretty relatively interesting. I can sift on and make sure that I'm looking for products that have, filtering out some of these stores that have 4 or 1 or something like that, right? If you're a Canadian seller, you can sift or sort on the country, right? So if you're a Canadian seller looking to learn from other Canadian sellers, right? You have 2 Canadian sellers right there. And so maybe I want to dig into these particular stores if I'm selling on Canada's marketplace. And so that's how this tool, specifically this top seller tool, is going to be a huge, huge efficiency hack for reverse sourcing and just consuming, again, a lot of that information. And it works for any brand, right? You don't even necessarily have to use it for a brand particularly. You can use it for a category. But what I would suggest is go through this exercise with your top 2, 3, 4 brands, sift through some of their storefronts, and just see what you see, right? Because, again, more profit, you're always going to find more opportunity within the areas you've already had success, right? So within the brands you've already had success with, within the listings and the variations, there are additional variations that are likely just as profitable. Those sorts of realms in the same niches that you've already had success with. This is just yet another way to dig into brands that you've had success with a little bit deeper to find more opportunity and more profit for you. So that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we will see you in the next one.